Hi everyone, welcome. Long time no see. Welcome to the tarot reading. I've been away, so many reasons, but I needed to take my time off to give time and energy to other aspects in my life. I don't know, I think May was probably the last reading I did. I know for sure I did not do June or July. Yeah, I think May was my last reading. That full moon in Scorpio, May or June, I don't remember, really got me up into dying to myself. And I felt I needed to do less and feel more, and that has been my quest ever since. I kind of feel like I'm getting to new places with that process. So this being said, I'm sorry for being away, but many of you reached to me to private readings, but anyways, I would like to keep this channel free and with content so everyone can get something out of it. So today I'm not going to read for the full 12 signs, that for sure I don't have the time for it. I do have the energy, my energy is back, but I don't have the time. So until we can meet my energy and my time and my availability, I'm going to do shorter readings. So today I'm going to do 3 readings, 1 reading for each crystal. We have here the Pirita, the rose quartz, and the blue Jasper. So I'm going to shuffle for each crystal. You can resonate either with the shuffling or with the crystal. And the timestamps are in the comments below. One thing that I've been struggling to is, should I keep the channel in English or in Portuguese? And I feel that both languages are valid, so I might go back and forth into reading in English or reading in Portuguese. I've been teaching so much classes in yoga only in English, so I think, and I spend my morning with an English speaking person, so I feel today like I'm resonating more into this language. That's why I'm reading in English. So I'm really sorry to my Brazilian viewers. I know that English can be a challenge to you, but hopefully until the end of the week I do another reading in Portuguese. I have that intention. I'm not sure I can keep up with it, so I'm not going to promise anything, but I do have that intention. So keep in mind that I did not forget about you. Okay, here we go. So let's shuffle about. I'm very excited to do this reading since Venus and Chiron are in retrograde. I would like to do a reading for this July, and also coming out of Cancer season, still lingering, at least for me. I still feel it a lot because I'm Cancer and Venus rising. There's a lot of stuff coming from the past, healing patterns, relationship patterns, working on boundaries, our wounded self, our wounded child, what aspect within you that we are responding to people that comes not from an adult grown-up version, but from a past self that is still wounded. We're all, healing, it's a process. We never come out of it, do we? Unless we get enlightened and don't reborn again, which I think 99.9% of us won't. So we'll be back here next season, next life. Okay, let's shuffle for the Pirita. It says very connected with wealth, with Leo. Very shiny as well. Beautiful rock to work with manifestation. I do not work with manifestation. Since a while, I figure I'd rather let myself open to what life has to offer than making the universe request for specific things. Of course, it's good to know what you want, but why would you narrow your life with what you think you want? Because, you will notice in my reading, I'm more into the deconstruct aspect than the construct. Well, anyway, let's go. Let's shuffle. You cannot see my desk. If you don't know my work, you don't know that there's tons of decks here that the camera does not show. I will pick different decks for each reading individually. So let's focus here on the Pirita, folks, for those of you that are resonating with this rock. Okay, that's it. Mm-hmm. Might talk a little bit about astrology while I'm shuffling. You might want to skip this part if you want to get down to business. You can ask each pile, so this is pile number 1 for the period. You can ask each pile a different question if you have the time to listen to everything. I would strongly advise you not to pick everything. Have criteria, be selective, and pick like one rock that, or shuffling, you can see the decks that resonates the most with you, and then maybe pick a secondary one. Oh, I like it when they jump. Oh. Okay. So yeah, let me see. This past talk can come into the form of your inner child talking with you, your past self, your past version, acknowledging how much you've come so far. Also, it can bring up your ancestors guiding you. So this is all energies or entities related with the past. So I'm going to put this one here as well. Okay, so this is pile number 1 for the Pirita rock. Here you have it. I'm going to just put it here. And now let's start shuffling for the rose quartz. As if you know my work, you know that I always intend to have more shorter readings. It's just not my style, you know, Gemini moon. I talk a lot, sometimes I talk too much. So if you resonate more with a short reading, maybe I'm not your reader, it's okay, because YouTube is filled with amazing readers, and I'm sure you resonate with one, if not more than one. So rose quartz is the stone of the sign of Taurus. You don't have to be a Taurus to pick this card, this pile. Okay. Just saying it. So earth energy here. Actually, crystals are all earth energy. So I feel drawn to this Lenormand deck card. I'm still learning this one, so I will read from the book if I don't recognize the card. Jumper. I love it when my cards show me again that despite of my, it's not that I've been absent of tarot or anything, I'm still teaching tarot and preparing the course, upcoming course to the end of the year. I've been keeping up with my private readings. Sorry to all of you postponing many of them due to my time and energy issue. Yeah, but I like it when the cards jump and fly and tell me, look, we're here, we're alive, we're still here. We're still here for you. Okay, rose quartz, pile number 2. This is your pile. And now let's shuffle for the blue Jasper. There's a lot of masculine. It feels like a linga. It's so beautiful, this stone. Really, really beautiful. Sometimes I put it in my belly button for Shavasana when I want to balance out my masculine and feminine. When I think I'm being overly feminine, which is usually not the case. Okay, which one? Okay, let's use this one. Let's use this deck. And this one. Leo season, my favorite time of the year. so much quality of just, laying down, doing nothing, enjoying the heat, sometimes overcoming the heat. Not that I'm doing nothing, I wish I was doing nothing. I'm actually working too much. Okay. So this is the reading. Let me just shuffle one more. For pile number 3, the blue Jasper stone. Let's see what the past has to say to you. Okay, and let's put them all back here, the 3 of them aligned. So we can pick, just look who's talking, but don't use your mind. Use your heart to choose. Use your heart. Your intuition will always guide you in the right direction. Okay. Give you some time to pause and reflect and pick up your pile. Meanwhile, I check if my volume is... Sorry, hey again, so we get cut in the reading. I had not enough storage room in my phone. I'm already tired from cleaning up the phone. Okay, connecting back with your reading. You have 2 strong cards of starting over and starting again, which resonates with this new moon phase we're crossing. But I have the 7 of Wands reverse, and this is where I feel like your wounded aspect or your inner child wants to talk with you, and it carries out when it feels like this fear of life itself, fear of obstacles, fear of facing obstacles and their consequences of not facing obstacles. And so let's go bit by bit. I'm trying to balance my strong mental energy with my emotional energy, so I still feel the urge to explain, to be mental. But the 7 of Swords reversed in a nutshell is getting away with something that is not yours, like the thief in the tarot. Here I don't feel as much as that being reversed. I feel like more connected to shame. Like, when am I ashamed? And that shame makes me not be able to move as fast as I know I can, or use all the resources I have. Maybe there's an aspect of you that tends to use other people's resources, other people's energy, other people's time. And maybe you're learning now that is not okay. You have to use your own power. You have to feed yourself. You have to love yourself first. You have to use your own energy. The 2 of Wands will push you into having faith. So instead of having fear, instead of repeating patterns of self-sabotaging yourself, or not even trying too hard, not even going for it, not even taking the opportunity, not even saying yes, you will want to say yes. Because your past self, and now here I feel more is like your ancestors talking to you, or your guides. You have it all. It's like tapping into that inner knowing that all is good. All is always well. And things are bound to change. It's like believing things are bound to be reborn and to start again. Believing in being reborn. Whatever this 7 of Swords reverse represents to you, and we can clarify it so you can get a little bit more specific. Take this message as it resonates, as it won't resonate with everyone. And use your own intuition to apply it in the areas of your life that you need to. I will only direct it specifically to an area of life if I channel that message, which I am not channeling now. Yeah. Two of Pentacles with the Ace of Wands. So one more portal. Aces, they're opportunities. They won't mean you will succeed. They mean you're meant to cross them, to be aware, to have attention, to be open. If you're closed, you will miss the opportunity for sure. So your wounded inner child, that I feel like you have the wound of fear and shame, like in your past you may have grown in a way that you had to walk on eggshells, not to be disturbed, not to shine. And we're in Leo season. You're meant to shine your true self. You're meant to fight for your life, to fight for what is important, what it matters to you. You may do it in a way that is more drastic, or you may do it in a way that is more subtle, according to your personality, of course, but also according to what is required from you. What are the voices around you? Are people coming up to you with feelings or with logic? And I'm learning that myself, how to mirror people's needs and also requests for attention. If you're a person that tends to respond with logic with people that come up to you with logic. People that come up with you with emotions, maybe they need to be feel heard in those emotions, and you need to reply at the same level. Here with the Ace of Wands, with the Two of Pentacles, you're most likely in the past, maybe you're getting better of this feature, of this trait of you, to work yourself off, to run the extra mile, to do multiple things at the same time, to keep your balance at all costs, to work in 2 different jobs, or to work as hard as in your job as you do in your family or with your friends, to be the support of others. Maybe you need to think a little bit more about yourself, because aces are always an individual journey. It always starts with you, for you, you for you. And then maybe others can come along if this is what it is about. But the ace presents to you yourself, and also the Two of Wands, a pretty individual energy. If you have an exciting project, an exciting idea, go all the way. Like Bukowski, like the poet said, go all the way. You do have, even if you don't believe, even if an aspect of you questions a lot, the resources, whether it be money, supplies, staff, or help from others, actually physical work and labor, it will come to you. Ace of Coins, you have it. It's already yours, even if you don't know how to. Sometimes you need to start stuff with a little less than we would like. Sometimes we need to start stuff with less safety than we would really like or wish for, and that can be a test itself. I think your tendency to run, your escapism, when you either overdo or do nothing at all, they're the same thing, 8 or 80. You want to be in the middle. is being tested. Your faith is being tested. Your hope is being tested. Maybe the universe wants you to prove of how much you really want to do it. Now, we have here in the bottom of the reading, I pulled out a love oracle cards, although I feel this first part of the reading is very internal, but you can apply it in a romantic relationship. Because I pulled out a love oracle card, I'm gonna take this reading into the direction of a romantic reading, and I'm gonna reread the cards again with that intention. So, if you're starting a new relationship, maybe it's someone that can be long distance, it can be another city, or you yourself can be someone that travels a lot, or you're just maybe looking into the future ahead. Like this thing got you started, like what if? What if we do this and this? What if we da 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 da? I don't see like commitment cards here. I see just the energy and the exciting of starting something new. A lot of creative and sexual energy between the two of you. And a lot of alignment with the material aspect of life. Imagine if one person imagines or would envision themselves in the future as being a backpack or living in a van, or the other person will most likely have the same vision. So you have the same vision towards money, you have the same vision towards what would be an idyllical house, we have the same vision towards family, for example, how to raise kids, that kind of stuff, the material aspect of life, your house, your career, your finances. I would feel this person is very aligned with you. And because regarding your inner child, you might have the same wound. So you might feel you need to overdo, overgive, and prove yourself so that love comes back to you. So you might have been brought up with authoritative parents or controlling parents, or someone that made you guys feel very uncomfortable about expressing your thoughts, about speaking up for yourself. So you have to do it, you have to hide it, you have to go around it, or just really go through the back door. You know what I'm saying? So there's a new love, so there's a new person that has stirred your romantic feelings, but your self-respect, so love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you so much more romantically attractive. So this is usually a warning. If it's a new love, there's this honeymoon phase. We all know we tend to give a lot of time and energy and attention to a new connection. This is where the structure is being built, so it makes sense. It's like when you're carrying a baby in your womb, the first 3 months are, very important. That's why some people only tell others they're pregnant after the 3 months. It's like that safety border. The baby's is viable. It's gonna be, you never know what can happen, but most likely the baby will be okay and will be born. So if you're in the first 3 months of a new connection, a new relationship, whatever kind of relationship you are into, you're being asked to don't forget to love yourself first. Keep doing your stuff. Keep connecting with your friends, with your family. Don't forget your career or your job or your hobbies or whatever matters to you in life, despite how much this new person has stirred you all up around, and this person did. Because it opened up these new magic portals. Maybe you feel more creative around this person. Maybe you feel more organized and more connected into material aspect of life, like paying your bills, getting rid of debt, cleaning up your house, whatever it is that you need to organize. So there's a lot of potential for this relationship with 2 aces for sure. And also I also feel that aces bring a lot of universe talk, prep talk. Like the universe talks with you when you are not distracted, when you can see the synchronicities. Watch out, you guys, nevertheless, to don't go crazy of seeing signs everywhere. Even Freud, the king of abusive interpretations for me, at least studied a lot of Freud back in college, and I wish my college was more Jung, but it was actually more Freud. Maybe I would still be a therapist if I've studied more Jung than Freud, for sure. Well, anyways, Freud sometimes would use this very forced interpretation, especially with sexual connotation, and especially towards women that were a bit, I would say, unfair, or just very narrowed, most at least. And so even Freud would say a boat crossing the river sometimes is just a boat crossing the river. So watch out for the interpretation impulse, to interpret everything, to give everything a meaning and a sign. Sometimes stuff, it's just what it is, and nothing more. But the aces bring a lot of synchronicities, a lot of magic. There's this magic quality to life. There's this flow, and since stuff starts to happen, like everything seems connected and layered in front of your eyes, and suddenly you have this clarity. And you will have this clarity about your goals, about what you really want to do, what sets your heart on fire, and you start to have some clarity about tidying up your life, the material aspect of your life. You might get lucky also with money. If you're investing, this would be a good combination to invest, and maybe be a little bit risky. But listen, don't do this because you're watching this reading. Do it because you really feel it to your bones that this message is for you when I'm speaking. If you don't feel it to your bones, don't be fooled. This is just a tarot reading, a collective tarot reading for everyone that has internet and YouTube and pushes the play button. So it might not be for you if you don't feel it. Okay. Now, on the more individual and inner work tone, you do have here the goddess Salis. She is very connected with, is like a version of Oshun. She's very connected with the river, the cascades, the waterfalls. And she says, spend time near water, such as a lake, river, or the ocean, to recharge your batteries. So when you feel the wounded child kicking in, and you feel hard either in a romantic relationship, either in your own relationship with the world itself or yourself, you feel the inner child kicking in, when you feel like you have to hide parts of yourself because you're not proud of them, when you feel you cannot be vulnerable, when you feel you have to walk on eggshells, or you have to overdo and overcompensate others with your own doing because you want to feel loved, go for a dive. If you don't like diving, just put your feet in the water and play with water like children do. Feel it's so healing. You see, the sacred chakra, Svadhisthana chakra, is connected with the water element. And for women, and I say this for women because most of my viewers are women, but also for men, but mostly for women because we give birth, this pelvis area is like a sacred triangle. So I would say, and this message is very specific, won't resonate with all of you. And you have here the Ace of Wands. Watch out how you give your body and who you give yourself to. This chakra water, it requires feelings. It does require feelings. I understand most of you might have a different view about sex. Most of you might have a different embodiment about the sacred sexual energy, but it is sacred sexual energy. It is not common sexual energy. And you're not for everyone, and maybe not everyone is for you. So take good care of the water within you. That being said, let's finish with the oracle card reading that says, when I accept the love of the universe as my primary teacher, I will always be guided back to the light. So this is very beautiful for you, because the universe with all these aces is for sure stepping in, like making a stand and an affirmation in your life. You just need to be aware of this divine connection. You don't have to be spiritual. We are all spiritual because we all have a soul. What I mean, you don't have to have a spiritual practice. Sometimes I think, and I've been seeing this in a spiritual community that is full of and really lost, really so fucking lost people. And I've seen and met so many people that don't have a spiritual practice. They are so spiritually wise. Isn't it funny? So yeah, take this as it resonates. You have an opportunity to start again in this department of fire within you, what sets your heart on fire, and the department of growing. What are you growing into your future? What seeds are you planting? You also have an opportunity to overcome one more layer and veil one more layer of this heavy fear and shame child wound you might have, although it might play out in different aspects within all of you. And have faith. The future looks awesome. And you are building it. And you're not building it alone. Universe is here to give you a hand. Don't forget to connect with water in any shape or form you feel like it. And I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please hit the like button. It helps my work to be seen by other people that might feel, the path more clearer, or these words might be useful in a way. If you want to leave a comment, you can also leave a comment. I read all the comments and I reply to, maybe not the day you write them, but for sure someday soon. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. You chose the rose quartz. Let's start your reading. You just drink some water. And start. You have the Phoenix. Wow, beautiful. Beautiful transformation, being reborn out of the ashes. It's a very powerful card in this deck. It's connected to the ether element, so to the divine element that pervades all the other elements. And you have the vulture, so death and rebirth. This is very interesting. So I'm going to connect intuitively with these cards, and I think I'm going to read from the book, because this deck, it's beautiful. And it's also beautifully written. It's very, very wise, so I think I'm going to read from the book. In Lenormand card, you have the 6 of fire. I'm still learning this deck, so I'm going to read from the book as well, sorry. Okay, let me pull these cards here so you can watch them. Right now I have ether, air and fire for you. And you have the King of Cups, Pisces energy, 10 of Cups, happiness energy, and 9 of Wands, victory energy. Wow. Powerful reading. Let me connect to it. So I'm going to start from the most sublime aspect of the reading to the more, I wouldn't say dense, but to the more mundane, like life events and stuff. Let's start with the phoenix and the vulture. We all know that the phoenix was a bird that was reborn from the ashes, symbolizes like the eternal power of life. To from ashes it can burn again, and from burning again it can go back to ashes, like a loop, a spiral. We all know that the vulture is a dark animal that tends to feed on the carcasses of other animals. So let's start here. I'm gonna unapologetically read from this beautiful Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Guidebook by Kim Krantz. Watch out for her work. It's really, really good. Okay. You can fast forward this part if it's too boring for you. I will take my time finding it, no rush. Hate rushing. If you see the scratching on the door, is my cat, probably Sassy, that wants to be part of the reading. Which she could, but then my new cat, Kuka, is such a baby and she's always distracting and jumping around. She's a bit of a muggle cat, not a black cat like Sassy that knows how not to disturb the readings. So I'm going to read first the vulture. The vulture is perhaps the most misunderstood creature of all. This intriguing bird balances our ecosystem and prevents the spread of disease. So look at this point of view. Really interesting. It does the dirty work that no one else wants to do and cleans up our messes. The vulture appears when there's a situation that needs to be purified or brought back into balance. Remember, the vulture is greatly undervalued. What you thought was a mistake or a tragedy might be a blessing in disguise. So when the vulture energy is in balance, it clarifies, it reveals wisdom. You can see that has like a twist to it. It's not what it seems. When it's out of balance, it can be dramatic, can be seen as dramatic or overly aggressive, so it cannot be heard without triggering others. To bring into balance, maybe you need to clean up your space, to sage, to take, dust off, dust if you must, and I'm being reminded of something else, doesn't matter. So the vulture appears in your reading as like a purifier, and is an animal that, as we've seen, is essential for balance. If the carcass of dead animals were not being eaten, there will be disease, there will be flies, there will be plague. So it does what no one wants to do. Is this also an aspect of you, pile number 2? Did you find yourself in your past, because we're connecting with past versions, past inner child wounds, and also ancestors that are here from the beginning of times with you, also past selves from past lives that know a little bit more about your karma than you yourself can ever will know. There's this connection with death. Not in your mundane life reading with the King, 10 of Cups and 9 of Wands, but maybe in your past self, maybe your childhood. Look, just a minute. Laura! Podes tirar o gato da porta, por favor? It's sassy. It won't stop. It's very Very persistent cat. Disease. Some of you might have some childhood disease that almost got you, but it didn't. Some of you had to face early death in the family. So there's this aspect of death and illness related trauma that actually build your character into you are today. That's actually a very, very loving and compassionate energy that you can work, that you are still working on it, but it's your true essence. But you do have the ability to connect with death, either because you might have important dear ones that already passed away and might be with you as guardian angels, and also because there's this, some of you, I feel like there's this risk attitude towards life. It might have been an addiction, it might have been like just risk behavior, you know, people that like to throw themselves out of airplanes and climb really risky mountains and go into really difficult pilgrimages and stuff like that, that is very near, you're very one-to-one with the process of rebirth, of losing everything and then coming back up again, coming back into a renewed self. So there's a lot of Scorpio energy here, also Pisces, but a lot of Scorpio energy. You might have Scorpio or Pisces in your chart. Sun, rising, moon, Venus, Mars, whatever. North node, South node, North node more. Very interesting. So let's read the Phoenix. It's a very powerful card in this deck. The Phoenix represents, oh god, and I'm getting chills. The Phoenix represents the transformation of our past. It doesn't mean running from it, denying it, or burning bridges with rage. The Phoenix employs an advanced technique described in yoga as the burning of impurities through practice and dedication. We call it tapas, the discipline. The essence of the Phoenix is with us when we realize we have been suffering too long and something must change. We take a stand and decide to live consciously instead of being driven by the unconscious mind and its long list of fears and aversions. At that very moment, the spark of the Phoenix is lit, and the great bird helps us burn through our baggage. We no longer run from who we are, or who we care. That was I was reading it too. What has happened to us, or what we have done. So you don't run from the past. You embrace your past, whatever you've done. It's a beautiful aspect of you. Because it's a puzzle. You cannot say, oh, I am this puzzle, but these 2 or 3 pieces, I'm not really proud of it, so I'm going to take them off. You take them off and the puzzle is not complete, so it's not you. Embrace all of you. Now is the time. Freedom from suffering. This card is about freedom from suffering, freedom from past karma, and freedom. It's also very connected with the process of reincarnation. If you imagine, sorry, I'm burping. If I'm burping through reading, I'm transforming energy. So wherever I'm burping for, I hope you feel lighter. Phoenix, through the fire, you know, the getting burned and then turning into ashes and being reborn and getting burned and turning into ashes. This is reincarnation process, a metaphor for the reincarnation process. So you can look at cards like microscopically, like this is your vision of happiness ever after. And this is how much you fight for it. All these ones you've accomplished. Sorry for this card that's been used too much. But you can use it also in an archetypical way, like zooming out. You know, and I think like reading can be this zooming out and zooming in, just as your inner process of development. So, the stuckness and dead weight that you carried are falling into the ashes, and you for sure you are feeling this. You have the King of Cups here. For sure you are feeling your heart lighter, and I don't know, I feel like it's literally opening up to yourself and to others. So the stuckness and the dead weight fall into the ashes, and the lightness, look at this. I haven't read lightness for, and I was it's, sometimes I'm amazed with readings, the magic in the cards. So, and the lightness and the clarity may emerge. As the stagnancy continues to smolder, the phoenix lifts our spirits up and up as we begin to recognize ourselves again. We may catch a glimmer in our eye that wasn't there before. You look yourself in the mirror today, go and watch that glimmer. Go and watch your inner power in the eyes of the soul. Don't be scared. That is powerful. Not to be powerful than others, but to be your own and best and true self. So you may catch a glimmer in your eye that just wasn't there before. Look closely. It's a sign that the fire of transformation is upon your wings. And talking about wings, I'm being reminded, thank you King Crowns for your wisdom. I'm being reminded of this Sufi poem. I think it's Hafiz. I don't remember the correct wording, but I get a lot from this combination of cards, this three combination of cards here. King of Cups, Ten of Cups, and Nine of Wands. It goes something like, it's also very soft, like this rose quartz. Like, I remember the first part for sure, the wordings are like, stay close to anything that makes you glad you are alive. And it goes on saying like something like, run away from anyone or anything that crushes the precious power of your small budding wings. You know, budding wings are wings that are, you know, emerging from the skin to grow into wings that you can actually use to fly. And fly is obviously connected with freedom. And freedom here with this water element in your reading is the freedom to be yourself through love, to love yourself, to love others, to allow love to be the path. And this looks a little bit, I know, like spiritual shit, spiritual talk, but it actually isn't. It is only spiritual talk if you don't walk the talk. If you walk your talk, you're actually fighting your way through to embody all this beautiful energy you have within. And you are meant here, if you need some reassurance, happiness is your birthright. Which also looks like spiritual bullshit quotes. I know, I'm aware of it. Just putting a little bit of humor into the readings. All these simple spiritual teachings sometimes look too simple to be true, but when you try to embody them into your life, you really understand they are complex. And sometimes you cannot grasp them. And sometimes you cannot hold on to them. but what you can hold on is to this vision. So the Ten of Cups, let me just tell you about the difference between the 9 and the Ten of Cups. So the 9 of Cups talks about this individual experience of love and joy. It's what makes you and you alone happy. And you better know what it is, because that's your life drive into this world. But then, when you overcome you and your dear belly button, the Ten of Cups happens. And the Ten of Cups is how you love yourself and others, and you are aware of the beautiful consequences that can have for the whole collective of beings, because yes, we are all connected. And you might experience from time to time on what level we are all connected as a species, as sentient beings alive on this planet. So you can feel that you love a tree as much as you love a person or a dog or a cat, because they are alive and they're alive with you in this life at the same moment, and you get to share a connection with a life force, whether it's your best friend or your pet or a tree you visit in the woods for years, whatever it is. So this is why we have swans here. Swans bring a lot of forever quality. You know, swans, they mate for life. They choose one partner, they choose each other, and they mate for life. When one of the swans dies, well, the other one won't last longer. So they devote themselves to each other. And there's King of Cups also talks about of devotional love, of having a sacred cup of love pouring into your own heart and pouring into the heart of others that you choose. Because a king chooses. A king is not chosen. You know the difference? So maybe you're being asked by your past wounded, and I see a lot of heavy family karma in this reading, especially to those of you that connect with the reading where I talk about early death, loss, death itself, illness. That maybe you're the first one in the family to overcome this. Maybe you are alive because of it. Maybe other people, other family members had to go a little bit soon as a sacrifice in the family lineage. And please, by all means, I don't mean to be offensive with these words, with all the respect. I know sometimes I'm very logic in the way I present really deep emotional stuff, but it just happens to be my style of communication, and I'm really working on it to don't come across as rude or someone that does not take other people's feelings into consideration. I'm a Cancer Venus rising, for sure. I'll take everyone's feelings into consideration, but my Gemini moon and I, we're sometimes in a bit of war, and I know I sometimes sound too mental and logical and rational, so if you're offended by my directness, I apologize. It's not my intention. So, back to the reading. You're being advised throughout this month of August to really tap into the water within you, and not just any water. So water represents feelings in tarot and also in yoga, by the way, and also in astrology. So see how everything is deeply connected, even if things are happening in different historical timelines. I feel with this King of Cups that you are meant to recognize throughout the month of July how far you have grown, how far you have come emotionally, how much of you that is a King of Cups. And this is not connected with gender, it's just masculine energy, just the structure within you. The structure of your emotions that are meant to fuel your life into the long run, into this special, beautiful vision of paradise. And it's possible. All you can imagine from the heart space. So first you imagine it, then you start believing it, and then you make it happen. And to make it happen, you have to use, the 9 of Wands energy. 9 of Wands is very deeply connected with the past too, because it's when you do this alignment of all the ones, all the victories you have conquered. It's like when you tap yourself in the back, like, yeah, I've made it this far. I walked from this heavy karma, heavy family karma energy, to maybe doing the energy and healing work through a very uncomfortable aspect of life that really no one wants to do it, but you went through it, and also to pay your karma as well. So I think this is paid off. It just appears here just to know this is your reading, and for you to fill in the gap from this to this of how far you have come. Okay. Wow, powerful stuff. Pile number 2, you would figure, because this innocent rose quartz also very connected with the heart chakra. Okay, let's read the Lenormand card that I'm learning. Let me read intuitively before I go into. So I see this thunderstorm and this rain, and I see this shore and this mountain. I always identify mountains with life obstacles. They're meant to climb, and then once you climb them, oh, it didn't look that far, it didn't look that high. You suddenly forgot, because you get this spike of this high of conquered a milestone, and it doesn't, all of a sudden doesn't look so difficult because you overcome the obstacle, and then you can go like running up, you can run down the hill singing like, I made it, yeah, and tell all the world. And then I see this knight, he looks very serious as he holds a sword in his hands. For me, swords are always the sword of truth that can, if you know how to handle it, can be very soothing. At least it's the truth. And then if truth is not being served, you have the sword of justice, and that can cut you if it has to. So it always has two sides, the sword, the one side it cuts. It can be very sharp, like justice. It's blind. And then you have the side that actually doesn't cut, and is the side that you can use, to for example, I don't know how to say it in English. When you're giving blessings and you're giving a title, like you're creating a knight, like I don't even know how to say it in Portuguese. So I'm like translating this ghost word in my mind. Oh, fuck, I don't know, but you get me. I think you get me. And if you don't, it's okay. Not always have to get each other. Let's read from the book. We have 6. 6 are also a card of balance. So, wow, this is the card of clouds. And it says, don't give up. The obstacles holding you back won't last long. This is a passing storm. These setbacks and delays are resolvable. It's good. It's a really good omen of luck. So you got so far to the 9 of Wands. You've got this far. You have this beautiful vision that is beautiful, the 10 of Cups, because it keeps in mind everyone's feelings, not just yours. So there's this notion of family, this notion of couple, this notion of community, this notion of group. It's beautiful. And you appear as the master of love and peace. So you've mastered your demons in a way that you maybe never mastered them so much before. But honor all the past versions of you that it did all these uncomfortable things for the sake of your own karma and the family karma. Also honor those that sacrifice themselves out of family karma as well, and know that maybe, just maybe, it won't repeat into the future, into the lineage. I don't think it will, because Phoenix is really, really powerful, and if you've taken on the vulture aspect, man, you did all you could. It's done. It ends in you. Whatever it is, death, illness, addiction, early death, either by illness or by accident, car accident, for example. Yeah, I feel much more illness here, illness and addiction for some reason. For some of you, it can resonate as accidents. Well, it's a very specific reading. Please leave something in the comments. I would like to know if this resonated with you. You know, I love you. That's why I'm doing this reading. I love you all. Thank you very much for being there and making this channel not look like a monologue, and watching the videos and coming back. And I think most of my viewers still people that don't follow the channel, so please follow the channel. This way we'll know when I post more readings, and you'll be also supporting my channel, which is in a way I feel like a energy exchange that is healthy. So I give you this reading and then you give me support. Thank you. Oof, that was intense. So let's go for pile number 3. You chose the blue Jasper stone. You also watched the shuffling of the cards and you resonated with these decks. So you have the oracle card, I will leave to the end. You have the past life card, very interesting, monk or nun. You have the page of wands, and you have the Lord of Pentacles and the Master of Secrets. Interesting. So a lot of making it happen card energy. Yeah. You're starting something. You're believing in miracles again. There's a lot of fate and Aries energy here. Aries and Mars energy with the Page of Wands, and Master of Secrets is a cousin of the Magician in the Rider-Waite Tarot, and then the Lord of Pentacles making it happen. How, man, you cannot make this up. This is crazy. I'm about to cry. So, let's start with the past life. Past life, you have the monk or nun. Most likely, there's we all had many lives. Some of us more than others. Doesn't matter. You know, we believe the cycle of Dharma has 21 lives, and either you take the 21 chances to get enlightened, or you're stuck in the wheel again, the wheel of karma, and you are being reborn again. That's why in many yogic teachings, such as in also Sufi teachings, they talk about overcoming death, and by that they mean not dying again, becoming eternal, as getting out of the wheel of karma. So there must have been either recent life or recent past life, or especially intense past life that is manifesting, that is reflecting its energy into this life, where you were a monk or a nun. And then on top of it, that's what was making me cry, because from different decks, you see all these nuns here. Crazy shit. So, already very aligned reading. You might have been a monk or a nun in this past life. The life of a monk or a nun is a devotional life into praying, but also into living with less material stuff. So there's an important aspect of renunciation that you still might feel in this life, and it can crash with a capital system that we are living also, because in a past life you were taught or molded to live in a frame of a community, a monastery, a nunnery, where the group would support the individual. The way we live most of our lives nowadays in this capital system, the individual supports the elite, and eventually some social systems will take into consideration the group or the community. But we all know we are on a rat race, right? And those of us that are not, we work hard not to be, or we try to escape it. It's very hard to live off the greed. So you might feel the need actually to do this, live off the greed. You might have this dreaming to this escape reality of going off into the world, into a van or with a backpack, or riding your way into the world, into your bicycle, or just being more like a person that has all their life condensed in a small bag or in a small car. Like maybe you like not having too much. And here I feel like the childhood dream with the Page of Wands that wants to come true, that wants to believe in the impossible and be strong, persevere. Page of Wands talks a lot about perseverance, about endurance, about starting things up in like dreaming. One day you're dreaming, the second day you're already doing the stuff you need to do to make this dream happen. I'm talking about dream because I see the Magician or the Master of Secrets here. The Master of Secrets has a table with all the ingredients. So it's like you hold all the ingredients to make your dream, your aspiration come true. All you have to do is to mix them. Mix them wisely. So the Master of Secrets appears when you yourself have embodied the quality of being a seeker. It's like you are in this vision quest for what really matters in your life. There's a lot of miracle, devotion, praying, spiritual qualities in this reading. The Master of Secrets appears when you've wisened up so far that you can actually look into the world with this attitude that you can embody, because the Master of Secrets, he embodies the magic within. It's where you feel that like, man, you know what? Everything is possible. I've realized I'm capable of truly everything. And this is the energy that will come up through the month of July for you. You realizing you are the master of your own life, that there's this secret and mystery aspect of life that you suddenly get a glimpse into it, because this is so big and so strong. I believe that as humans we get a glimpse of it and then we forget, and then we reconnect again and then we forget. It's like we're constantly in this dance of remembering and forgetting who we truly are. And there's this devotional aspect of the Lord of Pentacles, like believing in miracles. And I'm going to read what it says here in your oracle card. I'm going to read the Lord of Pentacles from the book. I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. So there's this secret side to you that maybe you don't show everyone, where you're very much in touch with the magic of being alive. Like, it's like Alice in Wonderland, you know, believe in 6 impossible things before breakfast and your day will be okay. Can you list 6 impossible things to believe before breakfast? Maybe they will happen. This is a really nice exercise. There was a few years ago I used to list 6 impossible things that I thought it just couldn't happen throughout my day, but I really wished for. And then they start happening. Like some things were like specific, very specific or very huge, and they did happen. So maybe it's an exercise you can do. I'm very curious about reading into the Lord of Pentacles. So this is a deck that I'm also learning. I've been reading for many years. I know what I'm doing, but when I'm starting to learn a new deck, my way into it, instead of reading all of this like it's a punishment, it would be a punishment. As much as I would love tarot, it would be a punishment to me to focus just on one thing for so long. I don't want to say the discipline, but I just don't have the will. I like to jump between stuff that interests me. So my way of learning, just to explain why I'm doing this, is to start using the deck in public and private readings and then read from the book. And then you learn. So bear with me. I also read it intuitively. Now I'm reading from the book. I won't read everything, but just to get the sense, because this deck is really different from the common Rider-Waite tarot that I usually use. Yeah, the Lord of Pentacles is one that is not afraid to act on his dreams. So actually, it's what I've said before intuitively. He honors his past, yet he moves to a new future. Then I want to read into what way the creator of this deck put nuns on this deck when you had the monk or nun past life card. So let's go for the whole thing. The Lord of Pentacles wears the turban of the blue flame of truth. He no longer focuses solely on his earthly kingdom, but now seeks connection to the inner realms and rules with spirituality. Well, it's also confirmation what I've said so far. There was a lot of spiritual energy in this reading. While it does not dismiss tradition and its gifts, honoring the old ways indicated by the Order of Nuns. Okay, the Order of Nuns are here to represent tradition. So maybe this can be a tradition, a religious tradition in your own family, and you are evolving from it to another spiritual or religious practice, or just like honoring your past life as a monk or a nun. By the way, hello fellow seeker, I also have this card a lot in my readings. I saw it in meditation, I saw it on ayahuasca. People saw it from me while reading my aura or my chakras, so yeah, maybe we went to the same monastery or nun, although I feel I had several lives as a nun, like several lives. Okay. So, while the Lord of Pentacles does not dismiss the tradition and its gifts, honoring the old ways indicated by the Order of Nuns, he moves beyond them, as indicated by the white veils that open to the heat of his blue flame. And we see here the blue flame of truth crossing beyond the Order of Nuns or beyond tradition. He shares his knowledge and he leads others to the truth. He is a master of numbers and can work magic into manifesting plenty from making good investments. He keeps sharp focus upon all his learning and sees wisdom in old connection, holding doors open for conversation and advancement. The flames upon the conventional religious nuns represents the fires of new understanding from ancestral teaching. The Lord reveres all traditions as containing the possibility of enlightenment. That's what I was saying. I feel like you are maybe going further than your religious or spiritual upbringing. You're going beyond. You're adding up to the table. The Lord reveres all tradition as containing the possibility of enlightenment. Cherishing what is left behind enhances his achievements to the present and views of the future. Gratitude for the foundation and support makes strong his position. He sees and learns from each part of life, absorbing what is necessary for achievement. He humbly acknowledges his faults, continually seeking to learn more and more. Harmony of mind and body is his goal. The marriage of conscious and unconscious to reach perfection. In your reading, this might appear as an established accountant lawyer of businessman, also as a loving, supportive, practical, and protective husband or father, one that is not afraid to act on his dream. He honors his past, yet moves to a new future. So there's also a sense of past here and future. Past as in honoring the traditions of your past life as a monk or a nun, with all the aspects I've mentioned before. But there's a lot of fast moving energy. As I said in the beginning of the reading, the Lord of Pentacles, as we read it now, and the Master of Secrets, the Magician. The power of manifesting any dream into reality. And the Page of Wands, I think, is the way you actually manifest this. So pages are very humble. We also talk about humility here. They're not afraid to say, I don't know, but they're also not afraid to say, can I learn? Can you teach me? How can I learn this? How can I take the first step? The messengers place seats for the thrones to kings to sit on. One day this page will be a king. After a page will become a knight, then a queen, and then he will be a king. So you are probably, some of you, starting to study something new or have a new idea, a new project. And throughout the month of July, you might take the first step. Maybe you enroll into this course. Maybe you start your own business. Maybe if you're an artist, because the Page of Wands is very connected to artist energy, you start to create again. You get your mojo back. Very interesting. So I'm just going to pull out an oracle card. I feel guided to take the fairy deck. And some all of them want to come out. You have healing, healer. Healing energy surrounds you, and this situation you see more purple to add to the table. The color of healing. And then you have, whom do you need to forgive? As you release old anger or resentment, you will find that your wishes will come true. So this is a new aspect to the reading. I haven't come up with all the other cards. We talk about a lot of spirituality and miracles and devotional and believing and manifesting and creating, and healing makes sense. You cannot create from a broken heart, for sure. And look how humble this figure is here. If you need to ask for help to create whatever you're creating into reality, you might get the help you need. Even if you're asking not from, I don't know, cousin, mother, father, maybe if you ask from the divine. I feel more drawn in to advise you to ask from the divine and actually a person. You might want to work with entities connected to the violet flame. It will be Saint Germain, for example. If you're already doing that, keep on it. And whom do you need to forgive? There's one more angel. So here you have an angel, and here you have another angel. So you might need to release some old anger or resentment that might block your way. So this is very specific. It does not resonate with the rest of the reading. So I take it as it is for a specific group of people watching this reading, not to everyone. Of course, if we look back, we all need to forgive someone. But this is very specific. It might be that maybe, just maybe, and I'm going to give an example. Some of you might need to forgive the person you're actually asking for help. The person that, if you need to ask someone for help, first, I would say, like I said before, you ask the divine. But if in a specific situation you need to ask someone concrete for help, maybe you need to forgive them first. Maybe the person that can most help you is the person you need to forgive. Or, that being said, it can also happen for some of you that once you forgive someone, you can go about your way more flowy, without looking back, without having baggage, without having, that conversation that I need to have to clear this with this person before I move through with my life. And you will move through with your life, for sure. Miracles are natural. I am love and miracles are natural. This can be your mantra for July. I am love and miracles are natural. Well, this is what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please hit the like button if you did. Leave me some comment if it resonated in a special way, or if you just want to say hi. And I'll be back, Goddess knows when I have the time or the energy, or hopefully the time and the energy to do these readings in a way that I feel that I'm really here. And there's nowhere else in the world where I would rather be than reading for you guys, despite I don't know who you are. I don't know who's going to watch this reading. So it's much more about the process than the results, for sure. So I'll see you when I see you. Love you.